side for Clark, who drops a three. That makes it look so easy. Oozing confidence. Hits to Boston, and it's right on the money. Clark back for Boston. Handy. Clark able to track it down and feeds inside to Boston. What a pass. Boston lays it in, and a foul!
On June 11, 2026, Caitlin Clark and Aliyah Boston didn't just help the Indiana Fever beat the Chicago Sky. They walked into the arena and rewrote the WNBA record books in a way nobody had ever seen before. By the time the final buzzer sounded, the two young stars had combined to shatter 8 different records in a single game. Not over a season. Not over a playoff run. In one night.
And what 14 points and 4 dimes.
Right here, Caitlin Clark. She's going to get a lot of attention, which is going to allow Aliyah Boston to pop, set her feet, and be able to get going. And then right here, again, when you play with a good passer, you cut and you keep your hands up.
What makes it even crazier is that they did it in a game that nearly slipped away from Indiana multiple times. This wasn't stat padding in a blowout. This was history being made while the outcome was still hanging in the balance. From dominant stretches to late-game drama and an overtime finish, Clark and Boston delivered one of the most unforgettable performances the league has seen in years. There was one sequence during the game that perfectly explained why Chicago had such a difficult time containing Indiana's offense. It started with a simple high screen from Aliyah Boston, but what happened next created a nightmare for the Sky defense. As Caitlin Clark came off the screen, defenders were immediately forced into an impossible decision. If they stayed attached to Clark, Boston rolled directly into open space near the basket. If they collapsed on Boston, Clark suddenly had room to attack, shoot, or create for someone else. Every option carried consequences. Chicago spent the entire night trying different solutions, but nothing consistently worked.
He hasn't been to the free throw line very often, but that will set up her ability to get to the line by knocking down triples.
Here's Boston's second three-point look. That one goes down. It's her 11th already of the season. She hit 6 a year ago.
There's that jet action that's really tough to guard.
Boston finds some space, lays it in, and an and one herself. An answer for Boston. This run started with Taylor. Boston hounding Stevens. Shot clock down to 7. Boston comes up with the block. Hines Allen pulls it down.
Over and over again, Clark and Boston forced defenders into situations where there simply wasn't a correct answer. What separates this duo from so many other star combinations is that neither player depends on the other to be effective. Most pick-and-roll partnerships have a clear hierarchy. One player is the primary threat while the other benefits from the attention being drawn elsewhere. That isn't the case here. Clark can take over a game with her scoring and playmaking, while Boston is fully capable of dominating inside regardless of who has the ball. That's what made this matchup so difficult for Chicago. Boston wasn't just setting screens. She was punishing defenders every time they made the wrong read. Clark finished the game with 32 points and 10 assists, constantly creating opportunities for teammates.
On the court together, what do you think has contributed to the growth and chemistry among you two over the years?
I mean, I think we're good friends. Like, that always helps. Like, yeah, like, you can be teammates and play basketball, but if you, like, really care for each other and love each other off the court, and I think that goes for our whole team, is, like, when you have that bond and you truly get to know somebody and build a relationship with them, like, that helps, because when you're on the court, you're going to go through moments of adversity. Like, that's just basketball, and that's what helps you get you through. But also, like, I feel like I always know where Aliyah is, but I think we got a little telepathy now, so hopefully we get that
Boston going. Answered with a career-high 34 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 blocks. Even though Chicago knew exactly what Indiana wanted to run, they still couldn't stop it. Sometimes a defense has the right game plan and still gets beaten because the players on the other side are simply executing at an elite level. Chicago tried virtually every adjustment possible throughout the night. They switched defenders, trapped Clark, dropped their bigs into the paint, and even sent extra help before screens fully developed. Nothing lasted for very long because Clark and Boston kept reading the floor and adjusting in real time. Whenever Clark saw 2 defenders coming her way, she immediately found the open teammate. Whenever Boston noticed defenders leaning too heavily toward Clark, she changed her angle and attacked the opening. Their chemistry looked less like 2 teammates running a play and more like 2 players sharing the same basketball brain. After the game, Clark joked that she and Boston had developed telepathy. While she
It's in there, Boston, another offensive rebound. It's Indiana's 13th. Boston lays it in, and a foul. The offensive rebounds.
said it with a smile. There was clearly some truth behind it. Their connection isn't just built during games. It's built through trust, communication, and a genuine friendship that continues to show up every time they step onto the floor together. While Caitlin Clark and Aliyah Boston deservedly grabbed most of the headlines, Indiana does not win this game without the work done by the players around them. Myisha Hines-Allen gave the Fever a huge boost whenever she stepped on the floor, bringing energy, toughness, and physicality that Chicago struggled to handle. She finished with one of the best plus-minus ratings on the team and consistently made winning plays that do not always show up in highlight reels. Lexi Hall also delivered another one of those performances that coaches love. Her 11 points and 8 rebounds may not jump off the page, but her defense, hustle, and ability to battle for loose balls helped keep Indiana steady whenever momentum started shifting. The supporting cast understood their role perfectly.
Tonight, another Commissioner's Cup game. The Fever are in defense of their championship from a year ago. They likely need to win tonight to keep those chances alive. That pass deflected way outside for Clark, who drops a three.
Makes it look so easy.
She's coming off a great defensive performance in Washington, where she held Citron well below her season averages. Clark spins, fades, fires, and hits.
Boston were creating history. Everyone else was making sure that history ended with a win. Then came Aliyah Boston's historic scoring performance. Her 34 points were not just a new career high. They placed her in elite company across the entire league. In fact, Boston became just the second true center this season to score 30 or more points in a game, joining one of the most dominant players in basketball, Aya Wilson. That is a statement all by itself. For years, Boston has been viewed as one of the league's most promising young stars, but this game felt different. This felt like a player announcing that she is no longer a rising star. She is already here. She dominated inside, finished through contact, controlled the glass, and consistently delivered whenever Indiana needed a basket, but the biggest record of the night belonged to both Clark and Boston together.
Good double team.
Clark just oozing confidence. Hits to Boston, and it's right on the money. Clark driving baseline, creates some space and finishes with the reverse.
That looked like a little bit of matchup zone to me.
Indiana needs offense. Clark spinning. Clark, oh, she got to the rim.
WNBA history, two teammates recorded 30-point double-doubles in the same game. Think about that for a second. Every superstar duo that has played in this league since 1997. Every championship team. Every legendary partnership. None of them ever accomplished what Clark and Boston did against Chicago. This was not a record that had stood for a few years. This was a record that had never existed before because nobody had ever reached it. That's what made the moment so special. It wasn't just another impressive stat. It was something completely new. Caitlin Clark was making history all over the place as well. Her 32-point, 10-assist performance gave her another 30-point double-double and further strengthened her growing collection of WNBA records. She now owns the most 30-point, 10-assist games in league history, a category where she is not merely leading the competition but separating herself from everyone else. While
Hey, good energy, brother!
Oh, great job, man.
Come on. Thanks for coming.
Oh, man, great game. I got to come back.
I know, I love it. You need to come every game.
I know,
you gotta come every game.
I'm locked in.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, big dubs, big
While other great players have managed to produce a game like that once, Clark has already done it multiple times. The scary part for the rest of the league is that she is still only in her third season. Most players spend years trying to reach this level. Clark is already rewriting standards before she has even entered her prime. As remarkable as the records were, the game itself nearly turned into a disaster for Indiana. Early on, the Fever looked completely unstoppable. They built a 19-point lead and seemed on their way to an easy victory. The offense was flowing, the defense was active, and everything appeared under control. Then suddenly, everything changed. Chicago began attacking with more aggression, forcing turnovers and finding easier scoring opportunities. What once looked like a comfortable night quickly became a tense battle. The lead started shrinking possession by possession, and the energy inside the arena shifted dramatically. One of the biggest reasons for that shift was Chicago rookie Sydney Taylor. Coming off the bench, she delivered one of the most explosive stretches of basketball seen all season. Taylor caught fire in the third quarter and seemed incapable of missing. Shot after shot found the bottom of the net as she energized the sky and completely changed the momentum of the game. By the time the quarter ended, Chicago had erased the massive deficit and forced Indiana into a fight.
Yeah, for either of you, this is the third straight game you've had that double-digit lead in the second quarter or third quarter, then lost it kind of in that way. Just what similarities do you see between these three games and losing the lead like that, and what can you do to just stop that from happening?
Most of it's on us. Like, we just have to make sure that we're taking care of the ball. I think in some of those stretches where teams go on run, we've turned the ball over 2 out of the 3 possessions in a row, and then we're not getting stopped. So for us, it's about sometimes maybe slowing ourselves down a little bit, making sure that we get a quality shot, and then locking down on defense. I think Chicago got out some transition buckets, got downhill a little bit, hit the pocket, and we weren't able to recover. So for us, just about taking care of the ball and then making sure that
all the record-breaking performances in the world would not matter if the Fever failed to close the game out. Kelsey Mitchell's night perfectly captured how chaotic this game became. On one hand, she contributed 19 points and provided valuable offense throughout the evening. On the other hand, a few late-game mistakes nearly cost Indiana everything. With the Fever trying to protect a narrow lead, missed opportunities allowed Chicago to keep believing. Instead of putting the game away, Indiana left the door open. Against most teams, that might not matter. Against a desperate opponent fighting back from a huge deficit, it almost became fatal. Then came one of the most dramatic moments of the entire season.
Kelsey Mitchell is a talented scorer, but she might have the worst basketball IQ of anyone I've ever seen. Look at this play here. She gets the steal, and the Fever are up by 5 with a minute left. So in this situation, all you want to do is hold it and bleed the clock and get a good shot, but no, she drives into the paint over 2 defenders at 5'8", and it's a turnover. This is genuinely worse than the Fox play. They're up by 3 here with 7 seconds left. All they have to do is inbound the ball and hold it because they're going to get fouled. Look at how she's looking at the rim. She was genuinely going to shoot this ball, and because of that, she doesn't control it.
With Indiana holding a late lead and only seconds remaining, a turnover gave Chicago one final chance. The Sky immediately capitalized. A clutch three-pointer tied the game and stunned the crowd. Just moments earlier, Fever fans were preparing to celebrate a hard-fought win. Now they were staring at overtime. It was the type of swing that changes everything emotionally. Chicago suddenly believed they could complete the comeback, while Indiana had to regroup after watching victory slip through their fingers. Overtime quickly became a test of composure. The Fever could have folded after losing control of the game, but instead they turned back to the formula that had worked all night. Clark and Boston immediately went back to their devastating two-player action. Chicago still struggled to contain it, and Indiana's stars responded exactly when they were needed most. Every possession felt critical, and every decision carried extra weight. Yet Clark and Boston continued playing with the same confidence they had shown from the opening tip. Maisha Hines-Allen once again made her presence felt during those crucial moments.
Boston can't finish. Pass ahead. Sheldon.
Her physical defense frustrated Chicago's guards and prevented easy opportunities around the basket. Every stop mattered. Every rebound mattered. While Clark and Boston grabbed the attention, Hines-Allen was doing the dirty work that often decides close games. Her impact could be felt all over the floor, and Indiana looked like a different team whenever she was involved. Meanwhile, Clark continued running the offense with remarkable poise. Even after all the momentum swings, she never appeared rattled. she kept reading defenses, finding teammates, and attacking whenever openings appeared. Her court vision remained elite deep into overtime, and her ability to control the pace of the game helped Indiana regain stability. Great players often reveal themselves in pressure situations, and Clark once again looked completely comfortable with the spotlight. Boston matched that composure with pure dominance inside. Her 34 points did not come from one hot shooting stretch or a few lucky possessions. They came from relentless work over the course of the entire game. She scored through contact, finished around defenders, attacked rebounds, and continued producing even after playing heavy minutes. By overtime, most players would have been exhausted. Boston looked as strong as she had in the opening quarter, continuing to punish Chicago whenever they failed to send extra help. When the final buzzer finally sounded, Indiana had scored 114 points, the highest single-game total in franchise history. That achievement alone would have been impressive. What makes it even more remarkable is the context. The Fever reached that number in an overtime thriller against a team that had erased a 19-point deficit. This was not a meaningless regular season game where both defenses checked out. This was a competitive battle that demanded greatness from Indiana's stars for every minute they were on the floor. In the end, the records tell only part of the story. Yes, Caitlin Clark and Aliyah Boston shattered 8 WNBA records. Yes, they became the first teammates ever to post 30-point double-doubles in the same game. Yes, they helped produce the highest-scoring game in Fever franchise history.
Clark driving, blocked by Koulibaly. Oh! Looking like Anunoby. Sorry, San Antonio fans.
Ouch, Brady. Yeah, that hurt a lot of people.
But the most important takeaway might be something even bigger. Both players are only 24 years old. If this is what they can accomplish today, imagine what this partnership could look like in the years ahead. On June 11, 2026, they didn't just win a basketball game. They gave the WNBA a glimpse of what the future of the league might look like, and it was absolutely historic.